Caroline, based on the way that things stand right now, is Operation Southern Spear about drugs or is it about oil?
What I will tell you, Peter, is that the Trump administration is focused on doing many things in the Western Hemisphere. The president has taken a new approach that has not been taken by any administration for quite some time to actually focus on what's going on in our own backyard. And there are two things that are very important to this administration. Number one, stopping the flow of illegal drugs into the United States of America, which we know has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. The president promised on the campaign trail that he would demolish the foreign terrorist organizations and drug cartels around the world, especially right here in our own hemisphere, and you have seen that he is delivering on that promise.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Peter Doocy just asked the one question that blew the whole Trump narrative apart. Is Operation Southern Spear about drugs or is it about oil? And that's the question we all want to know. Because if you ask the regular American why we're going to war with Venezuela, or if they're happy with it, people really can't tell you. Let alone any of these dumbass MAGA supporters on social media. They can't tell you why we're going to Venezuela. Hell, they can't even spell Venezuela, much less explain why what happened there is really bad.
With respect to the oil, that's a different issue. As you know, Peter, the vessel will go to a U.S. port, and the United States does intend to seize the oil. However, there is a legal process for the seizure of that oil, and that legal process will be followed.
And just my last one on this. If President Trump launches a bigger military campaign in the Caribbean, is he jeopardizing a possible Nobel Peace Prize?
Look, the president has proven over the past year that he is more than worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize. I think he's been nominated for it nearly 100 times this past year, which is definitely a record. He's solved, I think, 9 conflicts around the world. We are up to now. He's actively working on the Russia-Ukraine war, which is the big one as we speak, and has been over the past year. With respect to any additional action in Venezuela, I'm definitely not going to get ahead of the president or the United States military.
Trump and Hegseth have basically committed war crimes on the high seas, put us on course for a regime change war, and have riled up the hornet's nest of international condemnation and speculation, and have done it all without congressional approval. And what's going on isn't Saturday morning cartoons. This is big stuff. Donald Trump is trying to start a war with Venezuela, and nobody knows why. But the international community sure as hell has a lot to say about it. And you have to understand one thing. Reliable international media is not like Fox News, Newsmax, or Steve Bannon's clown show. Sure, those types are outlets and they exist around the world, but everybody recognizes them for what they are, state-sponsored propaganda. In reality, what's happening in Venezuela is extremely dangerous. What Trump and Hegseth are doing and have already done is an affront to humanity. It's the darkness of humanity stuff. It's a straight-up war pigs moment because these two guys are exactly the ones who beat the drums of war while never paying the price themselves. Like that old line from the song, why should they go out to fight? They leave that role for the poor. Over 80 people dead and survivors illegally blasted. No congressional authorization, no legal framework, no transparency, no American first anywhere in sight. And now they're all scrambling, trying to blame each other. Trump is getting ready to throw Hegseth under the bus. Hegseth is trying to pin it on Admiral Bradley. Everybody's pointing fingers, except at the people who actually gave the illegal orders. And what's crazy is that meanwhile, MAGA morons online are breaking into little Civil War factions, picking sides, screaming at each other, trying to blame Democrats for calling all of this out. But here's the part they cannot escape. It wasn't Democrats who blew holes in this story. It's the international community, the global outrage, and Peter Doocy asking the one question that shattered the whole interview, and Jake Tapper showing up with the receipts. And here's the part that blows Trump's whole drug narrative to pieces. They're out here blasting fishermen out of the water and calling them drug runners, acting like they just took down Pablo Escobar on a dinghy. But they completely ignore the reality that Americans cross the border every single day and bring drugs back from Mexico. Americans hit pharmacies in Tijuana, buy controlled substances with 0 prescriptions, and drive them right back through ports of entry. That's not speculation, that's documented. And do you know who made it harder for authorities to actually search those vehicles and stop the flow? Tennessee Senator Marsha Damn Blackburn. The same Republican Party screaming about drug boats literally passed legislation that kneecapped U.S. agents from doing thorough inspections at the southern border. So what's the point here? Why are we vilifying poor fishermen halfway across the Caribbean while ignoring the crime happening right here at home? If Caroline Leavitt really wants to make America safe again, maybe she should start with the Americans driving thousands of pounds of illegal drugs into the country, not inventing pirate movie fantasies to justify Trump's regime change fever dream. And if you watch that exchange during Thursday's White House press briefing, you could practically see Caroline Leavitt's eye twitch every time Peter Doocy uttered a syllable. The way she snapped back with, "Yes, Peter," that tight-jawed, sugar-coated venom, told you everything. She was pissed he even dared to ask a real question. She wasn't expecting it from him. And you could see she was clearly annoyed that someone broke from the script. Honestly, it's starting to feel like Peter Doocy is pulling a Caitlin Collins here. The moment when the propaganda finally becomes too embarrassing, even for the people paid to repeat it. Because if the White House can't even keep Fox News online, that tells you something. This whole operation is held together with duct tape, conspiracies, panic sweat, and the desperate hope that nobody notices how absolutely unhinged this Venezuela thing really is. And that's where Jake Tapper comes barreling in like a one-man fact-check machine. And folks, let me tell you, because Peter Doocy cracked the door open, Tapper kicked it off the damn hinges. Trump keeps bragging that he ended 8 wars, like he's some kind of bargain bin Mother Teresa with the spray tan, and Tapper sat there on CNN with the receipts, shredding the claim in under 3 minutes.
I can tell you I did settle 8 wars, and we have a 9th coming, but which nobody's ever done before.
Perhaps that's why FIFA, the sports governing body that organizes global soccer events, including the World Cup, created for President Trump and presented him with the FIFA Peace Prize. This was last week after Trump did not get the Nobel Peace Prize in October, seemingly an attempt by FIFA to flatter and curry favor with Trump. But let us dive further into President Trump's claim that he's already ended 8 wars and is working on a 9th. Let's take a look as to the facts here. These are the 8 wars that Trump claimed to have ended during his address to the United Nations this fall. Let's take a look at each one of these. Start with 2 that are in the news today because the conflicts are continuing. Number 1, Cambodia and Thailand. This was a 5-day armed conflict that ended with a ceasefire agreement in July. Thai and Cambodian leaders released a joint statement crediting Trump for his role in stopping the conflict. But today, Thailand launched airstrikes against Cambodia. Thailand's army says the strikes were in retaliation for an attack that killed the Thai soldier. The White House just responded a short while ago saying it expects both governments to fully honor their commitments to end the fighting. Number 2, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. On Thursday at the newly christened Donald J. Trump United States Institute of Peace, the president participated in a signing ceremony for a peace agreement with the leaders, the presidents of both countries. That war has continued, however, in part because Thursday's deal was never signed by the leading rebel coalition that's actually doing most of the fighting. And just today, a bomb explosion killed more than 30 people in eastern Congo. War number 3, Ethiopia and Egypt. This is not actually a war. It's a long-running diplomatic dispute about a major Ethiopian dam project on the Nile. It's a dispute that remains unresolved, but tensions over the dam have never reached the point of actual warfare.
Tapper went down the list one by one. Cambodia and Thailand, the fighting resumed. Congo and Rwanda, the rebel groups doing the actual fighting never signed Trump's so-called peace deal. Ethiopia and Egypt, that wasn't even a war. Serbia and Kosovo, he didn't end anything. He just claimed he prevented a war. That wasn't actually happening. Tapper basically took Trump's list, held it up to the light, and showed the world it was nothing but a stack of participation trophies Trump assigned himself. And the cherry on top, Trump didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. He got the FIFA Peace Prize, a made-up award from his buddy created out of thin air faster than Trump can say, "I don't know the guy." So while Trump's out here begging for a Nobel Prize and pretending he's some global peacemaker, Tapper is over here reminding everyone that not only did he not end 8 wars, Trump is actively trying to start one. He's chasing a peace prize with one hand while lighting a match in Venezuela with the other. And now we got to Trump's favorite part of the story, the delusion, the fantasy, the Nobel Peace Prize meltdown. Because while Trump is over here bombing fishermen, dodging Congress, and trying to kick off a regime change war like he's auditioning for a Dollar Tree remake of Wag the Dog, he's still obsessing over the Nobel Prize like it's the final rose on The Bachelor. This man genuinely believes he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. For what? For chaos, for confusion, for creating new wars and pretending they're ending? Trump is the only person in the world history who thinks the Nobel Prize should be awarded for vibes. And the funniest part, the international community is laughing at him. Not laughing with him, laughing at him. Pointing, staring, whispering. This dude really thinks he's all that in a bag of chips. And when he didn't get it, because of course he didn't, they just made up an award. The FIFA Peace Prize. I'm sorry, but that is some next level kindergarten talent show energy. The funny part is that Gianni Infantino pulled a crayon marker out of his pocket and created a participation trophy on the spot. That photo of Trump wearing the FIFA Peace Medal is going to be taught one day in history classes. Not in the chapter about diplomacy, but in the chapter titled Leaders Who Had Completely Lost Touch with Reality. You want to talk about delusion and grandeur? This man is standing in front of the world, mid-meltdown, starting conflicts he can't explain, lying about ending ones he never touched, while begging for a Nobel Prize like a kid begging Santa for a PS5 he knows damn well he didn't earn. He wants the award for being a peacemaker while literally trying to drag America into a war. You can't make this stuff up. Well, Trump can, but the rest of us, well, we can't. Everything about this screams one thing. He's desperate for validation. He wants a trophy, a ribbon, a sticker that says, good job, because deep down Trump knows he has no idea what he's doing, and the world is finally calling him on it. So here we are, full circle, after the chaos, the contradictions, the fishermen's massacred, the fantasy drug narrative, the Tapper beatdown, and the FIFA preschool prize. We're back to the only question that ever mattered. Is this about drugs or is this about oil? And the truth is even uglier. It's not even about either one. It's about ego, Trump's ego, excess ego. This whole operation is just two wannabe warlords playing Risk with real human lives. If this is what they do for a fake peace prize and a headline, imagine what they'll do when the stakes are even higher. And if that doesn't scream a man and an administration that is incompetent and unfit for power, I don't know what does. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.